The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, wanted to really just get my thoughts out there on this particular matchup that's going to be taking place later on in December. You know, a lot of you guys may know, if you watch boxing, if you're really up on your boxing, Japan always has these big fights the last 2 or 3 days of the year. And this year, 2021, it's no different. So, you know, make no mistakes about it. It will be a good fight. You know, in the middleweight division, a unification fight, as Gennady Golovkin, Triple G, returns to the ring. The IBF middleweight champion returns to the ring for the first time in over a year, and really for the first time in over 2 years that he's been in a significant fight against a opponent that is of good value in the middleweight division. You know, because last time I say he was in a real fight was October of 2019 when he fought Sergey Derevyanchenko. You know, since then he hasn't fought anybody really credible at 160. He fought Kamil Smerta, who was mandatory, but Smerta was tailor-made for him. No punching power, nothing, made to order. If I could go in the lab and create an opponent that was tailor-made for Golovkin, he would have been it. But he's fighting Ryota Murata, and I really think this is a good fight because let's be real. Golovkin is 39 years old. He was once a great middleweight. He was once a phenomenal middleweight champion, but you know, he's older. You know, he's just a step slower. He's gonna be over a year inactive by the time they fight, and he's at that stage of his career where he really can't afford much ring inactivity. And on top of that, to make matters worse, he's going on the road to Japan to fight him. And if you know anything about Ryota Murata and who he is in Japan, this guy is a megastar in Japan. I'm talking about, this man got billboards, this man got millions and millions of views on TV. I'm talking about, this man is a mega star. Now, we in the States, we don't know, and most people truthfully don't give a rat's ass about Ryota Murata. But in Japan, he's a big deal because in Japan he won a gold medal. He won a gold medal for Japan, and the Japanese are very big on honor, culture, honor in the country, civic pride. And he's no different to that. So, with that being said, man, Golovkin, since he fought Canelo, as I've said many times, he's been fighting really nobody. He fought Smerta and Steve Rolls, two, you know, club show B-level fighters on their best night. And then he fought Sergey Derevyanchenko, who was a good fighter, who I thought beat him. So he hasn't really been getting the best fights since he fought Canelo. He's kind of been sitting on his behind, waiting for that Canelo stimulus check, and it hasn't come. So now he's put in a very difficult position where he's got to go on the road to Japan, and it's gonna be against all odds. I gotta tell you this, man. I look at this as a 50-50 fight, because Murata isn't a bum. He's not a bad fighter. I don't think he's a great fighter, but I don't think he's a bum either. But he's more than capable of beating a Golovkin. You know, if we go through the career of Murata a little bit, you know, he did lose to Rob Brandt. Rob Brandt came in and fought the fight of his life and wound up beating Murata. Same thing happened when he fought. Same thing happened with Hassan Dam. Hassan Dam beat him by a split decision. He came back and he stopped him. So both times he lost, he avenged these wins. He avenged these losses with devastating, you know, knockout victories. So Murata has shown himself to be of a solid quality in boxing. Murata's got a good jab. Murata's an experienced, I'm talking about experienced, creme de la creme, top flight amateur. That's why Murata got signed by Bob Arum. That's why Murata, you know, caught the attention of so many people in boxing. You know what I'm saying? So this really has a chance to be the coming out party for Murata if he could beat Golovkin. And I'm looking at this as like the last stand of his career, Golovkin. You know, whether he wins or loses this fight, there's really not much left. If he loses this fight, he's as good as done in boxing, because, you know, do you guys really think Golovkin is going to continue to box with no world title? You know, there's just not a lot of fights out there for him. Ever since he lost to Canelo in the second fight, and they took away his win in the first fight, it looks like the love that he once had for boxing has all but vanquished and evaporated. And that's why he's content to fight Kamil Smerta. That's why he's content to fight Steve Rolls. And he was stealing money from DAZN, and they had to renegotiate his contract. So if he wins this fight, I think it's a great win. Yeah, he'll become a unified champion again in his career. He'll be a big factor in the division, and it'll set up some big matches for him. Maybe he goes and he fights Jamal Charlo in another unification fight. Maybe he does what no fighter who has a belt dares to do, which is fight Demetrius Andrade. There's a lot of options out there for Golovkin, but this is going to be a very, very tough fight for him because, like I said, Murata is very experienced. Murata, the moment's not going to be too big for him, and on top of that, Murata's going to be at home. Now, I don't know where the venue's going to be. They haven't announced the venue, but I'm thinking that this fight's big enough to fight in the Tokyo Dome. And listen, I follow baseball a little bit, and I know a little bit about Japanese baseball. So the Tokyo Dome is a big venue, so if they fight there, it's going to be massive. But it's going to be a mega event. It's going to be a mega event. You know, I'll probably be live for this fight at like 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning, whenever it happens. And it's good that we're at least getting some sort of movement in the middleweight division, because the middleweight division has been in absolute shambles. You know, Charlo doesn't want to fight Andrade. Andrade can't get no fights. Golovkin's been semi-retired. Murata's just been there. So it's good that these two are forcing some movement in the division. And maybe, and this is just the optimistic part of me, maybe, just maybe, this could be an example for Charlo and Andrade to make a fight happen, particularly from the Charlo side of things, because Charlo's the witness protection. He don't want to fight nobody, but I'm looking forward to this fight. You know, Murata can punch. Murata's shown it many times in his career that he's coming with really good power, that he's coming with good pop in those hands. Murata's a longer fighter. I believe Murata's even a taller fighter. So he's a taller fighter, he's a longer fighter, he's a younger fighter, he's an experienced fighter. It's a tough matchup for Golovkin, and you know, I could definitely see an upset. You know, and I think Murata has a beautiful opportunity for his career to really show the world his quality, show the world that, hey, you know, it's the middleweight division is just not about Bubu Andrade, and it's not just about Golovkin or Charlo, but I'm here too, and I'm not here to take part. I'm here to take over, and I'm going to defend my dirt, and I'm going to defend the honor of my country, Japan. So yeah, man, those are just my initial thoughts on Golovkin versus Murata. A really good fight, you know, a fight where I could see Murata outworking Golovkin. Murata has been known to throw a lot of punches. Murata is a very good counter puncher. Murata's got a lot of power. So look, if Golovkin does lose this fight, I'm not going to be the least bit surprised if he loses this fight by knockout. We know Golovkin has a great chin, but he's older. He's got a lot of miles on the odometer, and he's fighting a younger fighter who's going to be hungry to take his crown. And Golovkin's already been halfway checked out of boxing for the last couple years, so dangerous fight. But if Golovkin can come through, I'll tell you this: considering where Golovkin is at now with his career, if he can come through this fight with a big victory, you know, on the road against Murata, I would put this in the top 5 wins of his career. But just because of where he's at right now, the fact that he's going to Japan, it's going to be a hostile crowd. It's going to be all against him, against all odds. So yeah, man, you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you make of Murata versus Golovkin? Who are you picking, and what kind of a shot are you giving Murata from Japan? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.